Welcome back to Capital Catch-Up, your insider's guide to the marble halls of Washington. I'm Victor.
And I'm Leanie. It is the second week of February 2026, and if you thought the 119th Congress was going to ease into the new year, the Congressional Record, specifically Volume 172, numbers 22 through 26, tells a very different story. We have a massive slate of legislation to get through today.
That's right, Leanie. We're looking at a legislative heavy lift, covering everything from how you pay for college to how police departments are equipped, and even how we manage traffic in outer space. But let's start with the bread and butter issues, education and the workforce.
Absolutely. We saw a flurry of bills dropped recently that tackle the opacity of higher education. First up is House Resolution 3153, the Understanding the True Cost of College Act of 2025, paired with House Resolution 6502, the College Financial Aid Clarity Act.
These titles sound great, but what's the practical application for a family sitting at the kitchen table?
It's about standardization, Victor. For decades, universities have sent out financial aid letters that look completely different from one another, making it impossible to compare apples to apples. House Resolution 3153 and 6502 aim to mandate a standard format. Basically, if you're a parent, this means the net price, what you actually pay, has to be bold and center, not hidden behind loans disguised as grants.
And this ties directly into workforce readiness. We also have House Resolution 1198, the Let's Get to Work Act of 2025, and House Resolution 6002, the Veterans Earned Education Act. That second one is critical. It's updating how GI Bill benefits interact with modern vocational training. It's a clear signal that Congress is trying to pivot the conversation from just degrees to skills.
Speaking of pivots, we have to talk about the housing market. It's the #1 issue for millennials and Gen Z right now, and we have 3 major pieces of legislation entering the fray. There's House Resolution 6644, the Housing for the 21st Century Act, and House Resolution 7141, the Affordable Housing Guarantee Act.
And over in the upper chamber, we have Senate Bill 3599, the Affordable Choice Act. Now, Leanie, for our listeners who might not follow the procedural weeds, Senate Bill 3599 is interesting because it focuses on choice in housing opportunities, which usually suggests using federal vouchers to break up concentrated poverty.
Exactly, but House Resolution 7141 seems to be the more aggressive fiscal measure, potentially offering loan guarantees to developers who commit to long-term affordability. It's a supply-side fix. We haven't seen a federal push for housing supply this coordinated since the post-war era.
Moving from the roof over your head to the money in your pocket, or rather, the money the government tries to take back. I want to highlight House Resolution 6951, the Stop Unfair Medicaid Recoveries Act.
Oh, this is a sleeper issue, Victor, but it's huge. Right now, if a senior citizen uses Medicaid for long-term care, states can sometimes seize their home after they die to recoup costs. It prevents generational wealth transfer, specifically in lower-income families. House Resolution 6951 would sever that practice. If passed, it secures the family home for the next generation.
That brings us to public safety. We're seeing a fascinating shift toward technology and policing. We have House Resolution 4242, the Innovate Less Lethal to De-Escalate Tax Modernization Act, and its Senate companion, Senate Bill 3514, the Less Than Lethal Act.
That's a mouthful of a title for 4242, but the mechanism is clever. It uses the tax code to incentivize police departments to purchase non-lethal de-escalation tools. Instead of just mandating it, they are making it financially savvy for departments to upgrade away from lethal force.
Shifting gears completely, let's look at the horizon. Literally, the Committee on Science, Space, and Technology has been busy. We have House Resolution 5602, the Launch Act, and House Resolution 7388, the Smart Space Act of 2026.
This addresses the congestion up there. With thousands of satellites launching, House Resolution 7388 is likely setting up a framework for space traffic management. It's essentially air traffic control, but for orbit. And House Resolution 2311, the United States Leadership in Immersive Technology Act, suggests Congress is worried we're losing the edge on VR and AR tech to competitors like China.
It's not just space. The committee hearings from January 2026 show a focus on very terrestrial battles. On January 14th, there was a hearing titled Between a Rock and a Hard Place.
I saw that. It's about the U.S. stone slab industry facing lawfare. It sounds niche, but it's about foreign companies using lawsuits to bleed American manufacturers dry. On the same day, we had a legislative fairing on 5 resources bills, including House Resolution 3922, the Cross-Boundary Wildfire Solutions Act, and House Resolution 4038, the Wildfire Response and Preparedness Act.
That wildfire hearing is crucial. House Resolution 3922 acknowledges that fires don't stop at state lines or park boundaries. It creates legal frameworks for federal and state crews to work across jurisdictions without red tape.
We also saw the Oversight Committee digging in on January 7th with oversight of fraud and misuse of federal funds in Minnesota. And let's not forget the Judiciary Committee's hearing on digital streaming competition. With everyone cutting the cord, Congress is finally asking if the streaming giants are becoming monopolies.
Before we wrap up, we have to look at the people being put in charge of enforcing all these laws. The nomination list is heavy on the Department of Justice.
Very heavy. We have Daniel E. Burrows nominated to be an Assistant Attorney General. That's a high-profile role. Then a sweep of U.S. attorneys. Thomas Govan Jr. for the Middle District of Alabama, Zachary Keller for Western Louisiana, and Ryan Raybould for Northern Texas.
And the bench is getting filled too. Brian Charles Lee for the Western District of Tennessee and Justin R. Olson for Southern Indiana. This is a clear effort to clear the backlog in the federal judiciary.
It is. And for those of you who want to read the fine print, all of this activity, the introduction of House Resolution 7262, the READ Act, House Resolution 7376 on local water protection, it's all documented in the Congressional Daily Records from January 30th through February 5th, 2026.
So what should you watch for in the coming days? Keep an eye on the True Cost of College Act. With the semester turning, that bill has bipartisan momentum. And watch the Less Lethal Tax Act. If that moves, it changes policing budgets nationwide.
And I'll be watching the Smart Space Act. It sounds sci-fi, but it's actually about keeping our GPS and communication satellites from crashing into each other.
That's it for this week's Capital Catch-Up. Thanks for listening.
See you next time.